Hello, it's January 15th, 2023. I'm going to see if I can make my pointer work here with a felt tip pen. So we're going to talk about the plasma table project. It started in December. We did some work, and I'm not sure when it's going to last to, but this is a plasma torch. Goes with that, and this is a CNC table, so it's a torch connected to a table that you can do lots of fancy cutouts of metal, gauge metal, sheet metal. This project is for a high school, BOCES, that I retired from, and I have some experience using these tables at other centers, and I'd like to help out this current table in this project. So I'm going to talk about the pieces of this project and the vision that I have for it. Up front, I'm just going to state a couple things so there's no apologies or anything going through. This is a very interesting project to me. I like doing this kind of stuff. May not be interesting to you. You can just click through to the end to get your credit for taking the class. But it needs a voice, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It flowed well, so it feels like this is supposed to be something I'm going to do. Maybe they're going to use it at the board meeting. I'm not sure. All right, I guess this is kind of like new technology. I'm doing a full screen PowerPoint with audio capture in the background, and a colored pointer too. So this is what we have. They purchased a plasma. I call it plasma table. It's a CNC table. It goes in X and it goes in Y direction. It has a torch, plasma torch, so you can cut metal. So you can make intricate cutouts of gauge metal, sheet steel, gauge metal, a lot more precise than you could use with a hand torch, hand plasma torch, or an oxy torch. So you can make these kinds of things down here. You can make very intricate metal cutouts and then weld them together. So very interesting, very useful, big in industry. So the plasma table is going to, or it is in the welding shop. This is not the actual welding shop. These are just all stock photos off the internet. So it's in the welding shop. There's not a welding or a plasma table for each and every booth. I think there's 20 booths. So there's only one table in this whole facility for all the students to use. So it makes it a little bit different for doing curriculum. There is a welding instructor, a good welding instructor, a lot of experience. We have a welding classroom, so we have like a whole bunch of students in the classroom. I think probably like 20 or 27 they capped it at, so lots of students. But what happens is usually when you're doing only one piece of equipment, like there's only one plasma table, there's only one student making sparks fly, everyone else is standing around. So it makes it a little bit trickier to make the curriculum work in such a situation. Now there's also the CAD program. So we have a CAD instructor, a very good CAD instructor, comes from industry, well versed. He has and this is not his classroom, he has a big classroom, 30 students. They all have twin monitors for all their CAD CAM work that they do. And he has students that work on independent projects as well as the regular curriculum. So for him, we have our curriculum that he normally teaches, and he wants to incorporate the plasma table into some of that curriculum kind of like an enrichment type of thing. In addition, this is not, but this is a picture of an auto body instructor, well actually the auto shop instructor, who has his own curriculum that he has to teach his students, but thinks that this is a good idea for some of his students to learn how to do to support work in the auto industry. And there are a couple of other teachers who have their own curriculum that think it might be interesting to do some enrichment with some of their students. And over here we have some instructors without a classroom who are just kind of interested in also doing this, but not with the classroom. We also have a science liaison. He's not a well, he's a teacher, certified teacher in science, but he doesn't have a classroom. He goes around and helps all the other CT instructors, the welding instructor, the cosmetology instructor, the criminal justice instructor, the health instructor, with the science enrichment, science support, science remediation for those topics. So we have science certified science liaison who is pretty familiar with Google Classroom, which we've been using a lot since the remote thing happened. Well, the software I have, the free version, only records a minute at a time, so I didn't get this. So he's familiar with Google Classroom, and he's also familiar with curriculum, how to sequence different lessons so that students have a good grasp and proceed easily. So those of proper age will remember Yahtzee, a fun game. So we're going to take the welding classroom, welding instructor, welding students, welding curriculum. We're going to put it into our shaker cube. We have the CAD. Oh, this is the science liaison with Google Classroom, with Chromebooks, knows curriculum. Into there we have our CAD instructor with our CAD classroom, our CAD students, the CAD curriculum. We're going to put it in there. And we have some other additional teachers, classrooms, teachers without classrooms who are interested, and we're going to put it in there too. And we're going to shake. And just like the game of Yahtzee, the dice come out and we see what we get and we see what we can make work. So this is what was decided. We're going to take welding students and we're going to match them with CAD students. So there's going to be one welding student, one CAD student. They're going to work together as a team. And that is the desire of both of the instructors, because they want them to learn each other's trade, because it's important for the job market today. It was the plasma table. It looks like it's going to have its own curriculum, and it's going to be used as enrichment into the CAD curriculum and as enrichment into the welding curriculum. They're not going to modify the curriculums. They're just for the students that are capable and interested. They're going to use it as an enrichment, and the curriculum will be driven, well, repositories, stored, whatever, updated by the science liaison, who's very familiar with Google Classroom and doesn't have a classroom with students in its own curriculum, so he can provide support to maintain that. The CAD instructor is going to collaborate along with the science liaison with the welding instructor. They're going to kind of decide what they want in the curriculum, how it's going to be sequenced, what the goals are, and then the science liaison is going to facilitate that to happen. it is envisioned that the science liaison is going to like co-develop the curriculum with the welding teacher and CAD teacher, and he's going to put it into a Google Classroom for the plasma cutter, which will be different than the other Google Classroom curriculums. So the CAD instructor, who has his own Google Classroom, can import the plasma table lessons into his Google Classroom for the students he wants. And likewise, the welding instructor has his own Google Classroom with curriculum, and he can download the curriculum from the plasma table Google Classroom into his classroom for his students that he wants to use. And we have seen there's at least the auto tech teacher who has his own Google Classroom, and these Google Classrooms aren't linked, they're separate for each teacher. So he would be able to download the Google Classroom lessons from the plasma table into their Google Classroom. And there's some teachers or instructors that don't have a classroom or not interested in their classroom but want to access the curriculum to learn how to use a plasma table, and they can access the curriculum, the plasma table curriculum, directly from that Google Classroom. And we'll say here is that we talked about some other options of doing net drives and drop boxes and things, but the classrooms are not linked. They're not linked at all. So they're all separate. So students in one class, in the welding classroom, can't see the resources in the CAD classroom. So you can't put all this curriculum in the welding classroom, because then the other students can't see it. So that's why we think we're going to have the science liaison oversee the curriculum in a separate Google Classroom. And what we've learned from other center where we had tried this a few years ago, only having one computer that's associated with the how are we doing this? Only having one computer that's connected to this plasma table, and everyone has to use the same computer to do the designs as well as the cutouts, is a bottleneck and doesn't work. So what we're expecting is that students in a lab situation, computer lab, can review the lessons. Those lessons are also accessible by the Google or the Chromebooks, which we're going to take right into the shop and stand next to the plasma table and go through the video clips and the lessons and have all the checklists and everything that's needed right there. So the part that got cut off was if an instructor wants to use their own school laptop, take it right into the shop, they can also access all the content from the Google Classroom and follow along.